Good morning and welcome to Victory is Mine with Pastor Andy Stump of Victory Christian Center in Carthage, Missouri. Start your day with a powerful message of hope, faith, and victory in Jesus Christ. Here's Pastor Andy, bringing you encouragement straight from God's Word.
Good morning. We've been looking through passages in Paul's letters that deal with the aspect of what Jesus is doing for us now. What he did for us in his death and his burial and his resurrection and ascension is so powerful and so important to our redemption and our salvation. And therefore, our faith must be in what he accomplished for us. And then the revelation of what he has done for us is so key to our development in this salvation that he has given us, that God has given us. But we must also recognize, even with all of those things that he has done for us, he still continues to do things for us right now from heaven. And this is important to realize because while we play a part in our faith in believing the gospel, he is still playing a part in ministering that salvation to those who are in him. But if we turn to Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 through 16, it says, "Therefore, since we have a great high priest who has gone through the heavens, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold firmly to the faith we profess. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet was without sin. Let us then approach the throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in our time of need." It seems as though anytime someone begins to speak of the importance of faith and the attitude behind faith and the confidence in faith, some people take offense at that attitude and that confidence, thinking that those who are expressing that confidence in faith are not empathizing with where people are at, or are somehow ignoring the struggles, the pains, the difficulties in life. But actually, the biblical expression of confidence is the opposite of ignoring the things that happen in life. Faith looks beyond the current circumstances surrounding a person and looks to a higher truth. And this higher truth expressed here in Hebrews chapter 4 is that Jesus subjected himself to the same difficulties and feelings that we go through. The difference between him and us is that he was able to undergo those feelings and difficulties without sinning. So Paul says, and really this is the theme of the whole book of Hebrews, is don't lose your confidence. Don't turn back on what you know to be the truth, because Jesus, your Lord, felt the same things and yet was able to overcome them. And so he sympathizes with your weakness. Sympathize means to have a common feeling, as of bodily pleasure or pain, to feel in consequence of what another feels, to be affected by feelings similar to those of another, in consequence of knowing the person thus affected. I can't help but think of the story of Lazarus, who was a great friend to Jesus. So there's the pleasure of having a friend, but then there's also the pain of losing that friend to death. But when Jesus shows up and his sisters, Mary and Martha, are struggling, they are in mourning over the loss of their brother. And it says in John chapter 11, Jesus wept. And he wasn't weeping because somehow he didn't know he was going to raise Lazarus from the dead. It's just a sorrow of life to have somebody succumb to death in the process of death, which is a result of sin, which is not anything God ever intended for man to experience. But Jesus experienced the sorrow in that loss. And you can go down the line of all sorts of things that he experienced the difficulty of facing the temptation of the devil and yet stood firm. He understood the temptation in the Garden of Gethsemane to do something other than God's way. He knows what human weakness feels like and looks like, but he was able to overcome it. And this admonition here in Hebrews is Jesus is in heaven before the Father with the understanding that there are weaknesses and there are issues that we experience and undergo as a result of being human, and he knows and sympathizes with our weakness, but then also encourages us to continue strong. Hold fast to your profession of faith.
Thank you for joining us on Victory is Mine. If you're looking for a church home, we'd love to welcome you to Victory Christian Center in Carthage, Missouri at 13996 Burr Oak Road. Join us this Sunday at 10 a.m. or 5:30 p.m. and experience God's love, power, and victory in your life. You can also learn more about us at vccchurch.org. Have a blessed day.